Hi students, welcome back to Google Classroom of Sri Gokulam Public School, Guruvayur. How are you children? Hope you all are fine over there.
In the previous class, we have discussed in detail about the first stage in the formation of a company, that is promotion. Now we will discuss the second stage, that is incorporation of company. Incorporation refers to the registration of the company under the Companies Act. Incorporation or registration stage involves putting an application for registering the company before the concerned registrar of companies and getting it registered. In India, there is an office of the registrar of companies in each major state of the country. The concerned registrar is one who is located in the state where the registered office of the company is to be located. The main steps under the incorporation stage involves filing of necessary documents, registration and certificate of incorporation. Let's discuss each of these stages in detail. The first one is filing of necessary documents. Once the registrar approves of the name, the following documents have to be filled with the registrar. The first one is Memorandum of Association. The Memorandum of Association duly stamped, signed and witnessed. In case of a public company, at least 7 members must sign it. For a private company, 2 members are sufficient. And the signatories must also give information about their address, occupation and the number of shares subscribed by them. And the next one is Articles of Association. Articles of Association duly stamped and witnessed as in the case of a Memorandum of Association. And the next document is the written consent of the proposed directors to act as directors. And the next document is agreement. The agreement, if any, with the proposed managing directors, manager or whole-time director. And the next one is a copy of the registrar's letter approving the name of the company. And the next one is a statutory declaration stating that all the formalities related to the formation of the company are duly completed. And the next document is a notice about the exact address of the registered office may also be submitted along with these documents. And the last one is documentary evidence of payment of registration fees. All these documents must be submitted to the registrar of companies along with application form for registration. After the filing of necessary documents, we will move on to the next stage, that is registration. Here, the registrar verifies all the documents submitted and he also checks the receipt of fees deposited. Then, if he is satisfied with the validity and authenticity of the documents submitted, then the registrar enters the name of the company in his register. After entering the name of the company in the register, we will move on to the next stage, that is Certificate of Incorporation. Here, in this stage, the registrar issues a Certificate of Incorporation. Certificate of Incorporation may be called the birth certificate of the company, because from this date onwards, the company is considered as a separate legal entity. So, these are the main stages involved in the incorporation of a company. Then, let's discuss about the effects of the Certificate of Incorporation. The first one is a company is legally born on the date printed on the Certificate of Incorporation. So, it becomes a legal entity with a perpetual succession only from this date. And the next one is the Certificate of Incorporation is the conclusive evidence of the regularity of the incorporation of a company. So, whatever may be the deficiency in the formalities, once the certificate is issued, it is conclusive evidence that company came into existence on the date mentioned on the Certificate of Incorporation. Then, let's discuss some interesting examples showing the impact of the conclusiveness of the Certificate of Incorporation. The first one is the Certificate of Incorporation was issued on 24th August, whereas on the certificate date was written as 22nd August. So, the company is considered to be born on 22nd August only. And all dealings carried on 23rd August will be considered legal. Although the certificate was issued only on 24th August. And the next example is, after the issue of registration certificate, it was found that a person had forged signature on the memorandum. But then also the incorporation will be considered valid. From all these, we can understand, even when a company gets registered with illegal objects, the birth of the company cannot be questioned. That means the certificate of incorporation is so crucial. So the registrar has to go very carefully before issuing it. On the issue of certificate of incorporation, a private company can immediately commence its business. It can raise necessary funds from friends, relatives, or through private arrangement and proceed to start the business. We will discuss the third stage, that is capital subscription. After a company is registered, a public company can raise the required funds from the public by means of issue of securities like shares, debentures, etc. So, let's discuss the steps are required for raising funds from the public. The first one is SEBI approval. SEBI stands for Securities and Exchange Board of India, and it is a regulatory authority in our country, has issued guidelines for the disclosure of information and investor protection. That means SEBI is a regulatory body which controls the capital market of India to protect the interest of investors. A public company which has invited public to subscribe to its securities for raising of funds must make sufficient disclosure of all relevant information to the SEBI and must not hide any material information from the potential investors. And then SEBI will provide approval only after being satisfied with the details and documents filed by the company. And the next step in the capital subscription stage is filing of prospectus. A copy of the prospectus or statement in lieu of prospectus is filed with the registrar of companies. Do you know what is prospectus? A prospectus is a circular or invitation issued to invite the general public for subscribing to the shares of the company. Then, what is statement in lieu of prospectus? Statement in lieu of prospectus is a document issued by the company when it does not offer its securities for public subscription. And then investors set their minds about investment in a company primarily on the basis of the information contained in this document. Therefore, there must not be a misstatement in the prospectus, and all material significant information must be fully disclosed. And the third step in the capital subscription stage is appointment of bankers, brokers, and underwriters. The application money is to be received by the bankers of the company. That means to receive and deposit the application money, bankers are appointed. And the brokers try to sell the shares by distributing the forms. That means to sell the shares, brokers are appointed. They encourage the public to buy the shares and charge a commission for the same. If the company is not sure of selling the whole lot of shares, it may appoint underwriters. Then, who are underwriters? Underwriters undertake to buy the shares if these are not subscribed by the public. They also receive a commission for underwriting the issue. And appointment of underwriters is not a necessary task in this stage. And the next step in the capital subscription stage is minimum subscription. To make sure that company does not have shortage of funds, it is made compulsory that company must receive applications for some minimum number of shares. According to the Companies Act, this is called minimum subscription. And a public limited company cannot make allotment of shares unless a minimum subscription is received. As per the rules of SEBI, a company must receive 90% of the issued amount within 120 days of the issue of prospectus. For example, if a company plans to issue 10,000 shares of rupees 10 each, then it must receive applications for minimum 9,000 shares, that is 90% of 10,000 before allotment. In case the minimum subscription is not received, then the company must return the application money within the next 10 days, that is 130 days from the issue of prospectus to the applicants. And the next step in the capital subscription stage is application to stock exchange. A company must get itself listed in a stock exchange before selling its securities to the general public. Then the stock exchange authorities verify the financial soundness and other aspects of the company. And if they are satisfied, then the name of the company is listed. And if a company does not get permission from a stock exchange within 10 weeks from the date of closure of subscription list, then the allotment will become void. And all the money received from the applicants will have to be returned to them within 8 days. And the last step in the capital subscription stage is allotment of shares. Till the time shares are allotted, the application money received should remain in a separate bank account and must not be used by the company. In case the number of shares allotted is less than the number applied for, or where no shares are allotted to the applicant, the excess application money, if any, is to be returned to the applicants or adjusted towards allotment money. And allotment letters are issued to the successful allottees only. After getting the name listed, the company prepares a return of allotment. Then what is return of allotment? Return of allotment is a statement giving details about the names, addresses, and the number of shares allotted to each shareholder. And it is signed by a director or secretary. Then it is filed with the Register of Companies within 30 days of allotment. A public company may not invite public to subscribe to its securities. Instead, it can raise funds through friends, relatives, or some private arrangements as done by a private company. In such cases, there is no need to issue a prospectus. Instead, a statement in lieu of prospectus is filed with the registrar at least 3 days before making the allotment. These are the important steps included in the capital subscription stage of a company. With this topic, we are ending this chapter.
So students, I hope all of you understood the concept clearly. And please note that the notes of the lesson and test paper are also attached along with the class. Make use of these available materials. Study well and attend the test paper without fail. That's all for today. Thank you.